Hey everybody, this is Jared. Before we start, I just wanted to tell you guys that there is a little bit of audio issue on my end. There's times whenever my voice sounds choppy, and the only way to really fix that is to redo the episode. And we put so much hard work into this to where I didn't really want to redo it. You can understand me, but there's just times where I'm choppy. Please just forgive that. And I'm going to test stuff out before I do episodes from now on. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it doesn't bother you that much. And thank you for giving us a listen. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Kingdom Geeks podcast. I am Jared.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Elisha.
And this is the podcast where we talk about video games, movie shows, movies, and we just talk about that they all reflect the kingdom of God. And we just like to point that out.
Yes.
And yeah, tonight Nathan wasn't able to join us. He is, I guess, trapped in Nolan's basement. And I just got out of Nolan's basement, by the way.
He did.
It is not a fun place to be, so don't get trapped.
Elisha rescued him out of Nolan's basement. It was quite impressive. He went in there with an axe, untied him, and said, "I'll save you, Jared."
I don't watch Family Guy anymore, but if you know the Family Guy episode where it's a piece of candy one where Peter traps, I can't remember what, I think it's James Wood. He traps James Wood with pieces of candy and then puts him in a box. That's what Nolan did. Need to be on that episode. So
that's crazy.
Don't pick up random piece of candy on the ground.
And also, don't be trapped in Nolan's basement.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure it's probably my turn next since Nathan's trapped down there now.
Yes.
I don't think I've been trapped in his basement.
You rescued Jared.
Well, thank you for rescuing me.
Oh yeah, I did rescue you. That's right.
Yes, but anyways, tonight we are going to talk about the best superhero ever, Batman. So this is our Batman overview. We're just going to be talking about really just Earth 2 Batman, which is the OG Batman, and really just after that, just kind of themes that you can see throughout a lot of Batman stories. And so really before we start, normally we give ratings over movies and shows, but since this is a whole superhero, I've got a different thing that we're going to do. What is your favorite Batman? So who is your favorite Batman? That can be any media.
You want to go first, Elisha?
Sure. I think the best Batman is how it sort of ended Batman. I'm Batman.
Oh, he's a great Batman.
He's a great Batman, but for real, I think my favorite Batman has to be the one that Kevin,
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy is probably my all-time favorite. I grew up watching him and just looking into the background and how he does the voice. And how the things that really made Batman as we know today all came from that animated series. And so I fell absolutely in love with Batman because of that show. And the Young Justice Unlimited, but it's the same Batman, so.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's kind of, I don't know if it's hard for me to answer that question. It's just I want to give like a fair assessment because like Jared, I also love Batman. I also love the DCAU and I love Batman the Animated Series. In fact, I'm actually wearing a Batman the Animated Series TV show or t-shirt right now, and it's a fantastic show. But it's weird because like I almost feel like for me, like dividing up my favorite Batmans, I have like live action Batmans, animated Batmans,
You have to pick
different
one, man.
depictions. Oh, gosh. I mean, I'll probably have to go with Kevin Conroy as well, the DCAU Batman. I feel like he is the definitive on-screen adaptation of the Batman, but I really love other depictions as well. Like I I feel like it's become like popular to hate on the Dark Knight trilogy and to hate on Christian Bale's Batman. But as far as live action Batmans go, I feel like I still really like, even with the dramatic voice, like, where's the trigger? I still really like Christian Bale's as a live action Batman. But as far as like overall Batmans go, I'd have to pick the DCAU Batman, voiced by Kevin Conroy as well. He's the best.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that there's hate for the Dark Knight series. Like I
It's
find
become like popular.
I feel like people loved it. I haven't heard
Oh, I
any
love
hate
it
about
too. I think it's great. I love the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I'm just
Batman
saying.
Begins and the Dark Knight. I love those. Dark Knight
Well,
Rises
yeah.
I like, but it has flaws.
I'm just saying this is the first time I'm hearing people have hated Christian Bale. That's all I'm saying. Well, guys,
Or
I'm
like
glad.
it's become easy to make fun of his because of his voice.
Well,
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's mainly.
I
and
think
is
it's
he the one with the
awesome.
weird costume?
No, define weird.
That's Mike. Yeah.
Oh, it's Mike. Yeah. I was like, is that maybe that's why? No,
We've
think
had
it's because
Batmans with bat nipples. So like when you define a weird bat suit, like you have to like understand like the bar is pretty low. We've already had bat nipples.
But hey,
yeah.
we all have to admit the best Batman there ever has been is Adam West.
Oh, Adam West is great. I love Adam West's Batman. As like a parody of Batman. I love him as a parody of Batman.
Do you like Catman?
I actually do like
Yes,
Catman
I
as
do
well.
like Catman.
Catman's great.
Gosh,
That's a whole different
I
fandom.
can't remember. So we are going off track a little bit. I don't remember if that's Family Guy or if that's
Fairly Odd Parents.
That's very odd.
Because I know he shows up in
Jared.
both. Because I know he shows up in both. I can't remember which one.
In Family Guy, he's Mayor West. He's just
I know
himself
that.
as the mayor.
Okay.
But in Very Odd Parents, he's Catman, which is a spoof on the 1960s.
I know.
Catman's great.
But yes, I'm glad y'all
fantastic.
both answered correctly with Kevin Conroy because that is the correct answer.
He is the best.
And yes,
Also,
I grew up with him
He's
as well.
the
I love
goat.
him.
The goat.
The goat. That's why
Also,
he's
we
the
say
goat.
the bat.
That's why he's the bat. The bat.
The bat.
Yeah, I think Kevin Conroy is the best. And also like he has the best "I'm Batman" line ever in the first episode of Batman the Animated Series where the Scarecrow appears. Like the line he says there, if you guys know what I'm talking about, where he says, "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman." I'm like, that is the best "I'm Batman" line ever.
Yeah, and just even though the voices aren't that different, like somehow he just makes it distinct of Bruce and Batman. Like you really listen to it. He doesn't change much, but he just makes it different. It's hard to explain. You just really got to listen to it. But
it's like a distinct difference in the voice.
The difference between the Batman and the Bruce is much more like compassionate sounding, while the Batman one is like frozen razor blades.
Oh yeah. But anyways, we'll talk about the animated series probably in the future because I love it. Elijah loves it. Nate loves it. I don't know.
We should do Batman That's the Phantasmical. He should watch it. I've been trying to talk to him about it. I'm like,
dude, it's like
I don't even know if he's seen it.
Amazing.
He should. It's amazing. It's such a good show.
Oh my goodness. Now some people might fight this over me and probably my wife. But I think it's better than Avatar. Yeah, I said it.
I would disagree there.
I love
Batman. I love Batman, but I would still pick Avatar. I would still pick Avatar, but I love Batman still.
Gosh. We need to collect our
This is a roundtable episode here, but I got to do it instead of host.
Yeah,
we need to.
I would still pick Avatar. I love Batman, but I'd still pick Avatar.
Okay, but anyways, let's jump on in because we could just ramble all day. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about Earth 2, which if y'all didn't know, Earth 2 is the original Batman. We actually covered this in a roundtable episode I believe it's round table 2.
Yeah, maybe
so yeah,
you
this is
mentioned it. I could be wrong.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
that's
I
in the
did.
round table too.
Yeah, that's in round table 2. So this is the episode
I
that I
rolled
was
it.
talking about that we're doing. From that. So yeah, Earth 2 is the original. Just everything. So all the original superheroes come from this world, and so what happened was, at some point, DC wanted to like redo everything, but they kept all the original stuff and just called it, hey, this is Earth 2, you continue on your stuff, but we're just wanting to rebrand, redo all this stuff. And so I can't remember what year they did it, but it's probably like somewhere in the 50s or 60s or something like that.
Was it kind of like during the rise of the anti-comic book movement, to where like there was that guy that was like, hey, comic books are bad for kids, so the government was like, hey, no.
But anyways, we're going to go over a little bit the Earth 2 just to really just talk about some of the things that reflect it, the kingdom of God, and then some of the things that are just kind of different because I feel like it's really interesting. So Batman showed up in 1939 in the Detective Comics 27. And so this is the first ever Batman. It's a little bit different. This version is at first he was okay with killing.
He was,
so like
yeah.
It was wild.
And I'm like, wow, he was
just
doing this research.
Didn't he have a gun as well? Like, didn't he use a gun at one point? I can't remember exactly.
If he did that.
Yeah,
I think he did kill.
I think there was one comic that he had one. I don't know if it's all of them, but his design changed rapidly from how he was originally supposed to be and how he turned out and how he is now.
Yeah. And then that kind of stops whenever Robin comes in the picture. He stops killing. And it's kind of funny too because Alfred
comes
in the picture like way later. Like Robin is like it's kind of funny because Bruce and Dick are having to kind of hide the fact that they're Batman and Robin from Alfred, and then Alfred figures out, it's like, okay, I'll help you guys, basically.
Yeah. And that changed in the continuity when they reset the world.
Yeah, because most stories have like Alfred raising Bruce essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's different. So like there's more like stuff that's resolved in this first version of Batman. Like Batman getting to confront his parents' killer, even Two-Face being redeemed in this version of Batman. Yeah, like I don't know if he gets his face fixed or whatever, but like he gets back with his wife. So like there's some redemption there. Catwoman, for the most part, gives up crime. And then marries actually Bruce. And like they have a kid together. There's kind of one sad thing about what happens to Catwoman is like she's blackmailed into going back into crime and then gets killed during a robbery, and then Bruce basically just gives up being Batman, and he actually becomes a commissioner, taking over for Jim Gordon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't know any of this.
Holy crap. It's really interesting.
This is not like what I'm used to compared to like other Batman stories that I know about. Like that's freaking crazy.
And like he's more focused on family. Even like whenever he has kids and still is Batman, he's like more focused on his daughter. And so like what happens is actually Bruce gets cancer. And so I can't remember all the details, but basically he becomes Batman one last time and defeats a supervillain that's just taking on like the whole Justice League, and he dies fighting the supervillain, and his supervillain, I believe, is killed as well. And so like what it is revealed later is like the cancer was going to take him out no matter what, but he went out being Batman. And so that's just
because I'm Batman.
Yeah, like, and that's just an overview of the very first Batman. We're going to go more into it, but Elijah has some stuff for us about like more about Batman's creation. So Elijah, the floor is yours.
Right on. Well, yeah, as Jared said, Batman was created in 1939 by Bob Kane, originally Robert Kahn, and Bill Finger. They were part of a generation of Jewish creators, children of immigrants working during the Great Depression just before World War II. And superheroes at the time weren't just entertainment. They were stories about powerless people imagining justice in a world that felt dangerous and unstable. Now, Bob and Bill took a different approach than Jerry and Joe with Superman, where Superman draws more directly from biblical imagery and Jewish folklore. Batman is shaped by characters like Zorro and the Scarlet Pimpernel, wealthy men who hide their true heroic identities behind a public mask.
Can
And
I
Batman's
add?
influences, yeah, go ahead.
So, like, to add to that, I think, like, wasn't he also inspired by a comic book character called the Shadow, which is like this?
Right. I was just
Yeah.
say the influences don't stop there. He also draws from darker pulp and earlier film figures like the Shadow, the Black Bat, and even the film the Bat Whispers. These characters bring in the mood, the shadow, the fear, and the idea of a figure who operates almost like a myth or rumor. So Batman becomes this fusion of part aristocratic disguise, part urban legend, and part creature of the night. And for Jewish creators at the time, for young Jewish creators, because both Joey and Joe and Bill and Bob were very young when they did all this, having a visible identity and a hidden one would have felt very real. But even with those influences, their worldview still comes through how Batman operates. And one of the clearest examples is Pika Nefesh, preserving life above everything else. Batman's no kill rule isn't just a quirk. He refuses to take life, even the lives of his worst enemies, even when it would make the mission easier. Of course, Batman isn't following Jewish law, but the resemblance is striking. And then there's Tikkun Olam, repairing of the world. Bruce Wayne doesn't just fight crime as Batman. He tries to fix Gotham at a structural level, funding hospitals, orphanages, and social programs. So justice for him isn't just punishment, it's about restoring what's broken. And then most powerfully, there's Zakor, remembering. Batman is driven by memory. He refuses to let his parents' death fade and instead turns that memory into a moral compass. In Jewish thought, memory isn't passive, it's something that shapes how you act in the present. As Jonathan Sachs puts it, history is information, memory is a part of identity, history is past as past, memory is past as present, it is as it lives on in me. And all of this comes together in a deeper tension central to Batman's character, a balance between din, justice, and chesed, mercy. Batman is absolutely committed to justice, but restrains it. He sets limits. He refuses to become the very thing he is fighting. And there's a line in the book of Leviticus: "You shall not take vengeance." But you can see the tension plays out clearly in the Batman, where he begins as vengeance and ultimately realizes he has to become
Mhm.
something more, symbol of hope.
Mhm. Yeah.
Justice belongs to humans, but vengeance is something you don't take in your own hands.
Mhm.
These
Right.
aren't just abstract ideas. They are ways of understanding how to live, protect life, repair what is broken, remember your story, pursue justice, and show mercy.
Mhm.
Just briefly, as Superman represents a more Jewish story as Moses' parallel and immigrant experience, Batman is more internal. He's
Mhm.
not a savior sent from the outside.
Mhm.
He's the one who stays and wrestles with what justice should actually look like. And we actually have a full episode on Superman, so
We
definitely
do,
check
yeah.
it out if you want to go
The movie
deeper to see
depictions.
the similarities and differences between these heroes. Because every superhero we see today is basically based off of either Superman or Batman. They fall in between
Right.
that spectrum. They were
And
the very
even
first heroes. Yeah,
could I
go
add
ahead.
to that a little bit? Yeah, and
Yeah.
even to that, like, there's this huge trend, especially in comic book movies, in like the late 2000s, early 2010s to make every superhero movie essentially like the Dark Knight trilogy. Like we even saw that with superheroes that aren't really a lot like Batman, like with the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and like it just didn't tonally work. So like to that extent of like every superhero is either like a takeoff of either Batman or Superman. Like, yeah, that's even something that we see happening today. So sorry for interrupting, Elisha. I just kind of wanted
No, completely
I don't know
fine.
if that's
Actually,
okay.
it brings out no. It's all good because that actually leads into one thing I've learned. We wouldn't even have superhero movies today if it wasn't for one Jewish like entertainment lawyer who decided to like, hey, DC, can I have Batman and make a movie? And they're like, well, who's gonna go watch a superhero movie? And so the very first Batman movie with the one with the strange outfit.
Talking about the
uh
Batman film serial from the 40s, like you're talking about like that film serial from the 40s,
no,
or
the one with the weird outfit from the 80s. What's that one called again? I forget which series
you're
that
talking about
is.
Oh,
the one with Michael Keaton,
yeah, you're talking
or
Yeah,
about Tim Burton.
because that's a good
yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
Tim Burton's Batman is good.
And so I forget which Batman one it is. I think it's the one with Michael Keaton in it, but I could be wrong. But I do just remember that Batman movie exploded the superhero movie world because
Yeah,
if it
it was
wasn't for
big.
one guy that goes, dude, I'm a huge Batman fan, I want to make a movie, because the entire entertainment series is like, who's going to watch a superhero movie? They only read comic books of superheroes. Um, and so back to my original
Well,
points here.
really,
Even though
before
I'm
that, there
usually,
was
yeah, go ahead.
Superman, wasn't there?
Yeah, technically, Superman the movie did come out before
Yeah,
Batman,
True,
but
that
but it was
is
a pretty big
true.
to
success.
Elisha's point though, the 1989 Batman film with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson was a huge smash and a
Oh
huge
yeah.
Yeah,
success.
And
It was
I
I
very,
think
love
that's
very
Batman
important.
more, but I just want to be straight with the facts. There was Superman, so like,
no, yeah, I wasn't saying there wasn't any superhero movies
okay,
before, but that's why I think because they didn't do so well that a lot of the industry is like, who's going to watch these movies? Except
did
for like a
Superman
small
do well?
group.
Because I mean, the first
I mean,
two
Superman
were
did. I'm
good.
pretty sure Superman. I'm pretty sure Superman did well. But the thing is
Mm.
that like the Superman franchise did kind of take a dip after Superman 2,
Oh
like with
yeah,
Yeah,
Superman 3 and 4, and so Batman did kind of help lead the rise of comic book movies again, of it being taken seriously. And so I think,
true,
like,
true.
to Elisha's credit, it was very culturally significant with how successful the 1989 Batman movie was, because you could say like, well, the Superman the movie was great and a success and helped with launching the comic book movie platform. Batman is really the one that like we think of when we think of like blockbuster comic book movies, like the sensation that we think of, like a lot of it was tied with when the first Batman movie came out.
Yeah. And just like Batman, I'm human. So if I
no,
get
that's
my
fine.
information all tongue tied, I tend to do that sometimes. I listen to so many things and I try to put them all together, and sometimes I miss key facts.
You're
And
good though.
though
Yeah, you're
yeah,
good.
and though I'm usually here to try to point out the Jewishness of these things, Batman is not, in a literal sense, Jewish, but he deeply reflects the worldview shaped by Jewish ideas because authors write what they know and what they can pull from. And so the Jewish idea is justice with limits, responsibilities to repair the world, and and the belief that even in darkness, what you choose to remember can defy what you become. And honestly, Batman becomes a richer character once you start to notice these influences. Um, and so that's all I have to say on
Nice.
that.
Well, cool. We're gonna jump on basically themes that you would see throughout almost all the Batmans. Maybe I know one of these you won't really see it in all of them, but I really felt like this was something cool. We'll get into that later, but Batman takes on different kids that need him, uh, and becomes like a father slash mentor to them. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and even more. There's more people, including his son, Damien. We won't jump into all their stories really, but all of these, except for Tim, get adopted. Damian is his biological son, and even if you want to go with Terry McGinnis, with Batman Beyond, is his son as
Yeah,
well.
you can kind of go Terry McGinnis a little bit.
He's definitely more
Stoney?
of the mentor. He's definitely more the mentor, but he is Bruce's biological son as well.
Yes.
And so, really, just I really feel like Bruce last Batman takes on the spirit of adoption, and Ephesians 1:5, Romans 8:15, First John 3 verse 1 talks about God adopting us, and like he definitely has that adopting spirit, and also Matthew 28:18 verse 20, and 2 Timothy 2 1 through 2 talk about like discipling and really teaching. And so you really see that through Bruce and Batman, of just discipleship in its own way, not necessarily like following on, but just like putting in that hard work and just showing the next generation, and just like fighting crime and stuff like that. And you can parallel it to just discipleship and teaching. But for sure, definitely. He has a strong aspect of adoption, and if you want to add anything into that, you can.
Yeah, and I mean that's exactly like when in the first century, second century of Judaism, discipleship is to become like a rabbi. Batman trains them to act like him, to do the same training as he got from his master, and so it's that passing down of that knowledge of and also to teach your children, as Exodus says. And the moment you sit down, you stand up. Bruce Batman does that pretty well. Like in every instant, he's constantly teaching these children. It's like, hey, this is what you need to do to survive these streets of Gotham, and do not forget these set morals. This is as the Bible, as even discipleship of today. Christians are like, here's how you can defend and to protect, but don't forget the core values of which we carry, which sets us different from everyone else, so we don't go down that path. Now, not every single one of the Robins and Batgirls and all that follow that to the extent, but that was he taught them all the same. It wasn't like it was, oh, you only get this and only you get that. He said, well, if you gotta survive these streets, you gotta be like me.
Yeah, and we see that a little bit, even like, he definitely, like you said, we're talking about Elisha, there definitely is this level of discipleship with Batman and the Robins that he takes under his wing, and even with Batgirl as well. So I definitely think that's a huge theme of adoption and raising people up in the Lord. I'm going to pull up a verse really quick. Yeah. So it's Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he grows older, he will not abandon it. And so the Bible talks about this theme of raising children up in the way of the Lord and in the way they should go. In a similar way, Batman raises the Robins that he does raise, whether it's Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, and even with Batgirl, he trains them up in the way of how to fight crime and how to do things correctly. I think one of the most interesting dynamics, I know this is a different Batman we're talking about. Jared, is it okay that I bring up a different Batman?
Well, it's like kind of like an overview now of like what you'll see in all of them, so that's totally fine. Yeah, we're not talking about Earth 2 anymore.
Yeah, so there's a version of Batman that I think I would like to see adapted for film one day. So James Gunn, if you just so happen to listen to this, which probably means never, please take this as an idea. So there was a time frame where Batman was killed and Dick Grayson actually took up the mantle of the Dark Knight. And this is while Damian Wayne was Robin. And what I thought was interesting is that Damian Wayne, those of you guys who don't know his storyline, so he is technically Batman's biological son. But by the time Batman started raising him, he was raised by this group of bad guys called the League of Shadows. And because of that, there was a lot of wrong thinking that Damian had in his mind because he was raised by this group of criminals. Well, Dick Grayson, when he took up the mantle of Batman, we saw this interesting dynamic of Dick trying to help Damian realize that he doesn't have to be so aggressive, that he doesn't have to be so hateful when being Robin, that he can learn to be more peaceful and be more calm. And so, in a similar way to where we see in the Bible how we're supposed to demonstrate and train up children, the next generation, in the way of the Lord, we see that a lot in the character of Batman, even when Dick Grayson takes up the mantle of training up people in the ways that should go, of how to do what's right, of how to, in a way, like seek justice, love mercy, and to do justice in a way that is right and not in a way that is hateful. So I really want to see an adaptation where Dick Grayson takes the mantle and Damian Wayne is Robin. Like, that's just, yeah, it was like a storyline that Grant Morrison did in the 2000s.
Yeah. And also, kind of fun fact, in Earth 2, there's only been one Robin. So, like, yeah, we're definitely covering, like, everything. Like, kind of like an overview, so.
So we're not... So you mean we can bring up the Robin from The Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, if you want. If it applies to what we're talking about, sure.
There's a Robin, man, I think it's one of the like newest Robins that people were like, what in the world? I forget his name. I think it's Starro.
I don't think I've heard of this Robin.
Is this like something in like the newer comics? Because like I know Damian is Robin.
Yeah, but there's one. I remember when it came out, people were like, "What in the world?" But it's that giant like starfish, cosmic being that usually when he's showing in the comics, he's like trying to destroy the world. But in whatever issue this was, they made Robin. The new Robin was for a while Starro.
Maybe it's like an other world or something. Maybe
I'm not familiar
with that, but.
There's a lot of comics, man.
Yeah. Going along with basically, you know, having Robin, having Batgirl, all these things, you know, Batman is always at his best whenever he has help, whenever he has his friends, whenever he have his partners, you know. He has the Bat family, he has the Justice League. And really there's a storyline of Jason Todd getting killed by the Joker. And
yes,
like Tim Drake comes up to him like, "Hey, you need Robin. Like, I want to be Robin." And like, Tim is like the only one. And I guess Damian too, but at least at this point, Tim is the only Robin that isn't an orphan. Basically, like he's going behind his parents' back to be Robin. And so, like, Tim Drake recognizes that, figured out, like, Bruce Wayne's Batman's like, "Hey, I'm your next Robin. You need me." And really, like, that's whenever Batman's at his best, whenever he has help, whenever he has others, whenever he has a team. And he does do the solo thing. And, you know, like, those are great things, too. But he's at his best whenever he has a team. And you have, you know, 1 Corinthians 12, 14 through 20. It talks about, you know, the body, and like each body part has its function, and really just comparing that to the body of Christ, and really just like whenever you see Batman with a team, he's better. He's like, "Hey, like you have this gift that I don't. You go do that." You know, he's able to lead. He's really a big leader. Galatians 6:2, you know, carrying others' burdens, and really the Bat family just, you know, is able to help him carry these burdens of just fighting crime. And Ecclesiastics 4:12 talks about, you know, there being a three of a chord, you know, like one chord's easily snapped, but if there's three together, you know, that's harder to snap. And really an axe, like you see, and I'll even go a little bit, I'll back it up a little bit. Even like Jesus telling the disciples, like, "Hey, go two together, you know, go." And
that's a good example.
Yeah, and in Acts, you know, it talks about there's only really one time whenever there's somebody alone doing ministry, but other than that, it's like Like,
Yeah.
really, there's at least a small team at least like doing ministry.
Yeah, Paul at least had a Silas or a Barnabas. Like there's
Yeah.
like Peter went together with people. Like you said, the only time in Acts where we see someone really doing stuff by himself is Philip.
And I think that
that's
he
really
just
about it.
randomly came upon that guy. It's not like he was going out doing ministry.
Oh, he was teleported.
Oh no, he's teleported
Yeah,
after
Holy Spirit.
that.
Oh yeah,
That was like
right.
afterwards.
Yeah,
There
that was
Holy Spirit
afterwards. After he
teleportation.
baptized the dude, he was like teleported.
Probably
So
wasn't even
teleportation's
planning
in the
on that.
Bible, guys. You know what? Hey,
Teleportation. In the
no, I
Bible.
can't say that. Samson was technically the first superhero. Dang it! So Philip was the second. Unless if there's some other guy that God gave. Actually, yeah, God did crazy miracles through people. So I can't say that.
Yeah, he did.
Elijah.
Yeah,
Elisha.
Elisha. Yeah,
well.
yeah. Most of the prophets. Moses. Yeah. I think Moses is the first superhero. Oh yeah. He's
actually. No, I can't say that. I don't know if this. I was gonna say Melchizedek, but like, I don't know if Melchizedek performed any miracles. So never mind.
Yeah. Well,
to my knowledge,
I think though to tie it back what we were talking to, I think the best Batman movie that shows him needing a team from when he's like, no, I'm a lone wolf to
are you talking about the Lego
team.
Batman movie?
I am talking about the Lego
Batman. I was thinking
movie.
about that. I'm like, the Lego Batman movie demonstrates this perfectly.
I didn't think that this would come in here, but okay, wow.
The Lego Batman movie shows this perfectly.
Earlier. Yeah, I was making reference to it earlier. It works so well.
It really does.
A team.
Like literally, like to your point, Elisha, I was literally thinking about that. I was even thinking of bringing it up. I'm like the media that shows us so well of Batman being at his best when he needs a team literally is the Lego Batman movie, because that's literally all the storyline is about, is Batman not being able to do things on his own, needing a team, needing a family. Sorry if I interrupted you. By the way, I realize I've been interrupting.
No. I was like, this is a textbook example. No, it's okay. You're good. I mean, you're adding on with exactly what I was going to say. I'm not the only one that thought about that. I was like,
I was literally thinking as Jared was talking, I'm like, the Lego Batman movie literally shows.
I only lure cologne.
No.
This is why it's a Batman overview, because there's all these things that touch on Batman, you know.
It works so well.
Serendipity.
But here's one thing that's not really shown throughout all the Batman stories, and I feel like this is something really good that it rarely happens in Batman. But it's whenever Batman gets rest, he can be the best version of himself. And really, Exodus 20 verses 8 through 11, it talks about Sabbath, or Elijah would say Sabbat. Right?
Shabbat?
Yeah, that's what I said. Did I say it right or wrong?
Okay.
Sabbat.
I was like, Sabbat.
Well, you know.
I was like, what? There's some weird controversy between how you say that in Hebrew. It's like Shabbat, Shabbat or Shabbat.
Sebulba always wins.
Yeah.
One has an O, one has an A, and it's a huge thing that we fight over sometimes. I was like, wait a minute, which one did you say?
Yeah, also Mark 2:27 and 28 talk about it, in Leviticus 23 3 talk about just rest, and really just how we need rest. And in a lot of Batman stuff, you see like, oh, I gotta like keep going, I gotta suck it up, all that stuff. But and there's times for that. There's times whenever you can't do that. But you do need to find rest. You do need to just say, no, I can't do this. And there are times whenever he has done it, some by choice, some by not choice. And so there's one where
when Bane breaks his back.
That's literally what I was about to say, where Bane breaks his back.
Oh, Batman.
And
you thought the darkness was your ally.
Azrael takes over as Batman, and Dick has to take over a little bit as well. And then there's this one comic I believe it's in Red Hood and the Outlaws. So kind of
Oh, dude.
spoiler alert. Jason Todd comes back from the dead because of the Lazarus pits.
Is that a spoiler at this point?
I'm just saying
Yeah, a lot
spoiler
of
alert.
people
Is
Okay,
it
do
I'm
that.
just
really a
saying
spoiler?
I'm just saying spoiler. Okay, and so
Who does
A
not
lot
know
of
that?
people do
okay,
know
hey, let
that
me
who are
explain
Batman
this.
fans.
Okay, but so like it goes through a past story of whenever Jason was Robin, and like I think he was sick, and then Bruce was like, "We'll take the night off. Like it's fine. Like let's rest." And so there are rare cases where Batman will show this, but the majority of the time, heck, I remember like one Justice League cartoon, and like literally it's just like if you fell asleep, you stayed trapped in this dream, and so Batman's like, I'm just going to chug coffee. I'm going to do this to stay up till this is over with, and then he did get his rest afterwards, you know. But
Yeah.
like the majority of the time, it's like Batman having to suck it up because his arm's broken or whatever. He's got the crap beat
Right.
out of him, and it shows
Yeah.
like I got to be tough and stuff like that. But there's times whenever she's like, hey, like it's really best that you just calm down and let someone else take care of it, get
Yeah.
real rested, and then come back and be the best superhero ever.
And to add on to that, for like a real life examples, for any workaholics out there that's like, I have 7 days of the week, I gotta work all the time, all those hours filling with something. Even in like modern psychology, where you have lawyers and they never take a break. And they'll come and they'll see the psychologist and like, well, why don't you just take one day off and just see what happens? And so they'll take a 1 day of rest, and their cases that they'll take after that just shoots up in success exponentially. And so it's not just like some people like, oh, the Sabbath. For the Jews, we don't work on the Sabbath. We take rest to spend time with God, and we spend time in his nature, and we do stuff that rejuvenates us. And some people are like, well, I don't need a Sabbath, I have to do this and this. But even in secular science, which is, there is no really such thing as secular science, science is made by God. It shows that when you take a rest, you take, and for us Jews, it's Saturdays, and most Christians take their Shabbats on Sundays. But it shows it's not just a religious thing; it's an actual, with your brain, when you take time to take rest. Like throughout the entire week, some people think, "Oh, I'll just rest 8 hours one day if I miss um, sleeping 8 hours previously, or you've had 3 hours, like a couple weeks of just 3 hours of sleep and one day of 8 hours. That's still not enough for your body to take. You have to, even almost, some people have to sleep almost 10 hours to catch up on the sleep that they lost. So rest is highly important for us humans. God made us in such a way that we need to take that time to catch up on our sleep. We need that time to give our body a rest. Like people who work out 24/7, 7 days of the week, if you do that, your body will actually break so much to the point that it won't be able to heal properly. It won't be able to build properly. So if you take 1 day off working out and go back to it, your body had time to heal, to reinforce what you were building before. So you'll be more stronger than you did before. So science backs us up, the Bible backs it up, to where taking that rest makes you more clarity, it gives you more strength, it gives you more less stress. And stress has its own thing on human bodies. So if you take anything out of today, even if you don't think the Sabbath is on Saturday or Sunday, take a day, take a Sabbath,
Yeah,
like
at least take
pastors
a
do it
day.
now. There was like a whole movement towards the late 2000s, like to now, where people realize just we need to be taking Sabbaths. And so recently, to like of today, people are starting to realize the importance of taking a Sabbath, taking time to just rest. And so I think it's important that we realize that we need this. It's not something that man just made. God made the Sabbath for man, so
Yeah.
we can take that time to be with Him,
Yeah.
and so we can be rejuvenated in that.
Yeah.
And to kind of add, oh, sorry, did you have something, Jared?
No, I'm saying yeah.
To kind of add to that, so one thing I think that's interesting is that like when the Bible talks about rest, especially with resting on the Sabbath, ultimately I think that the reason why God commands us, why God wants us to rest, is because um ultimately it's because rest is supposed to point us back to God, and rest is
Right.
supposed to point us back to intimacy with our Creator. So one of the things that I found very interesting about Genesis 1. So I'm not going to get into there's different theological positions about Genesis 1. But I think one of the things I find very fascinating, I think it's specifically like the beginning of Genesis 2, is every day in the creation in Genesis 1 says, and there was morning and there was evening, a fifth day. And there was morning, there was evening, a sixth day, stuff like that. The one day where it never is said of that is the seventh day when God rested. And I think ultimately that's supposed to be a clue to point to us that in Jesus is our ultimate rest. And so with that, it means that when we rest and rejuvenate by spending time with God and even having fun, that's supposed to point us back to God. That's supposed to
Right.
point us back to intimacy with our Creator. And the thing is, work is not a bad thing. Like a lot of people think that work is part of the fall. Actually, it's not. God commanded Adam to take care of the garden. Like he commanded mankind in the cultural mandate to to basically rule the earth and subdue it, to bring it back to him. So work is not a bad thing, but rest is necessary because rest ultimately points us back to trusting in God.
Right, and to add on to that, like a messianic view to it, that when God did rest on the seventh day, the last thing he created was Adam and Eve. So it wasn't just God sitting back and doing nothing. He was
Mm-hmm.
spending time with Adam and Eve. He was spending time with his new creation and being
Mm-hmm.
in awe and wonder of what he just made, because he says this is good. And he said man was very good. And so he was spending that time. So Sabbat is supposed to be a time that we focus on our relationships, not just with God, though that's the most important thing, but with our family as well, and to spend time in our community. Because a lot of people, when they see don't work on the Sabbath, they take, oh, so I just do nothing all day. I just lay down and do
Yeah,
sleep all day. It's like, well, that's not the point. The point is to spend
right.
time in God's creation. Like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, one of the things that I do is walk around just without my
Mm-hmm.
phone or without listening to anything, just walk around a park and enjoy the creation of which is surrounding me, and take that fresh breath of air. And it's not a passive thing, it's an active thing.
Yeah, it
Sabbat is an
is.
active thing. It's like, yes, I will put down time. I clean, usually for me, I clean my house completely on Friday, so I don't have to worry about that. I prep my meal, so I don't have to cook it on Saturday. But it should be me and God. I spend time in the scriptures. I spend time in His creation. I spend time with my community. I hear from the Torah. I hear from uh, the gospel, and I pray and I spend that time in doing what I enjoyed, that God has given me to enjoy. So it yes, work is good, as Nate says, and actually in Hebrew is a type of worship. When we think of
Mm-hmm.
worship, we think of praise typically. Hallel is um the word for that. When you go to church and you raise your hands and you sing a song, and that's great.
Yeah.
But worship in Hebrew is far more than that. It's devar, it's work as well. So when we work on whether it's a big project or small project, even doing this, what we do here in the Kingdom Geeks podcast, this is a type of worship to God, because we're bringing the glory to God in all these subjects. And it's something that we enjoy. It's something not just, oh, I have to get
Mm-hmm.
up and do this. It's something we love to do. That's why it's such a conversational when we talk. Uh, so I would say, like, even with Batman, if you learn anything, pros and cons for Batman, is like, yes, strive to work as hard as you can, but make sure you pick a day to rest so you won't fall too hard. Because, like with Batman, at certain points, he isn't choosing to rest. He's almost
Mm-hmm.
subdued because he can't do anymore. He pushes his
Yeah.
body to pass the limits to the point where it takes him longer to probably get back on the streets of Gotham than it would if he just decided, I will just take this one day to relax and let other people
Mm-hmm.
handle it. And so that's one of the biggest things that Batman has to go over with, is I can't take care of everything. And we often have that savior complex as well, which is
Mhm.
this stuff is going to happen. I have to be the one to do this. but as a good leader, as Jared says, divides and conquers. Like you take this area, you take this area. So the best time we see Batman is when he gets all the Batgirls and the Robin say, okay, you take this quarter, you take this quarter, you take this quarter, I'll take this quarter. Or even sometimes he's just watching and the Batcave and let them do it. So I think it is very important that we take away that we do need a day of rest.
Yeah. Well, this is going on to the next thing. The biggest kind of thing with Batman, y'all can probably guess, is Batman values life and never kills. So in Exodus 20:13, it says, you shall not murder. And just one thing is I think Batman takes it to an extreme, and I don't find it necessarily horrible, or bad, but I think that, there is a difference between murder and kill. So, for example, the Bible says, do not murder. So murder is of innocent blood. But let's just say that there's a gunman that attacks me and I have a gun on me too, and I pull it out and I shoot him before he can kill me. Was that murder? The answer is no.
Yeah.
That's self-defense.
I'm letting people think about it. It's not necessary for y'all to answer, but it's just for people to think about.
I was like, are you giving this for us? Because this could be a topic we could be on forever.
Well, so like I do believe that there's a difference between killing and murder, and for sure, like I think that there is times whenever Batman is justified in killing someone because it would have been self-defense. But here's the thing, though, too. Like, I do love this that Batman does value life, even if it's someone horrible like the Joker. Like, there is a comic book, and there's times whenever he's a villain, and there's just times whenever he is he's just a mercenary, so like bad guy overall, and that is Deathstroke, and literally he's even said like Batman could have killed me at any point in some of his fights, but he could tell like he was holding back. And so also too, we talked about this in Superman. I just literally thought of this now, of just literally just the power that Batman has in him, just holding back this power that he has, because with great power comes great responsibility. Going back to maybe it was Spider-Man. No, I think it was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man was the one where it's like with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't thinking that came from Superman, but after I said with great power comes great responsibility, this is where I was talking about in Spider-Man, where like
my favorite Thor line is in Endgame when he goes, I am Iron Man.
And
Anyways,
so
sorry.
Basically, it's just like him holding back this power. Like he can probably kick anybody's butt. Batman,
he could.
Like he can give enough prep time. I know that there are some people that think that's overrated, and that's okay. We can talk about it. Have a round table about it. Come at me. But,
come at me, bro.
Anyways,
Sprite.
That's one of the most funniest. Oh my goodness! Okay, if you don't know what that was referencing, this guy that dresses up as Batman, and like he also so like it's him being Batman, and then like he'll also be like just a civilian, and he asks for a water cup, and he gets Sprite. He's like, "Is that water?" And he like drinks like that Sprite. Just totally beats the crap out of this guy. Just so hilarious.
You wanted Sprite?
Sprite. But anyways,
my favorite one of those videos, because it's like a series that he does. My favorite one is the one where someone uses the handicap stall, and then like Batman rolls up in a wheelchair, and he opens up the door and is like, "Are you handicapped?" And the guy shakes his head no. He's like, "Well, you're about to be," and he starts beating the crap out of them.
But he has all this power. And I'm trying to think the exact words that I want to put with this. Like he has this power, but he holds it back. What were we talking about that Spider-Man episode?
Yeah, so we were talking about with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And about like talking specifically about the meekness of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
and
meekness. That's
about
what it
like
is.
how, yeah, meekness.
Yeah,
So
and that's what meekness
Humble.
is. It's like having this power and like holding it back, not to really boast in yourself, but it's really like Batman does this really just to protect others. You know, he's not doing this like this, just to be like, oh, I can beat the crap out of people. It's just like really just to uh really stop injustice, stop criminals from doing their stuff. But
yeah,
to get on my point again, like I do think that there is a difference between killing and murdering, but I also do love the fact that Batman does value life, even if it's
yeah,
to the Joker, where like he does deserve to be, he does deserve to have the
yeah,
death sentence. Like you can't change that in my mind. Like he does
Yeah.
deserve to have the death sentence. I think that,
for sure.
yeah, I won't go too much into that because it's, I don't want to get political, but like he is the worst of the worst, you know. But it's
Yeah.
Batman's like, no, like I'm not gonna end his life.
But it's as I said earlier, it's the pika nefesh, it's the preservance human life. And the term itself, how it came to be, it's based off of Leviticus 18:5, live by them. Uh, this is the type of ruling, the type of value of preserving life to, because for those who don't know, in Judaism and in Messianic Judaism, we have where positive and negative commandments, and certain commandments can override other commandments, giving the context. Like if someone was dying on Shabbat, you are more obligated to preserve their life than to not help them, because technically in some ancient Judaism they count healing as work. So like even Yeshua healed on the Sabbath, prioritizing life over strict rule keeping. He and even the ancient Jews are like, oh, he's going to die. His life matters more because life is sacred because it comes from God, and preserving it reflects God's heart. For God takes no pleasure in the death of the wicked, as it says in Ezekiel. So life itself, all it stems from God. We're all made in God's image. Uh, is life is so important to God that in like several times, uh, like I think even like in Genesis when he flooded the world, say how heartbroken he was that he had to do that. Uh, it was devastating. So God loves life. He loves what he has created. He loves us deeply. And so Batman shows that peak of nefesh, the preservance of life. So multiple times, like even in I think in the comics where Joker goes too far, and even like Superman, the guy who in the latest movie saved even a squirrel, would kill Joker, and Batman was like, "What have you done?" Because you would think it would be the opposite from how gritty Batman
Yeah.
is. But it's that rule that's keeping him from becoming like his enemies.
Yeah.
Is like I'm
Yeah.
going
It's so
to,
good.
and that's what we
Yeah.
have to do as Christians. Is to, like pray for your enemies, for those who persecute you. When we take a step higher than the world has its own standards. But when we take a step higher and we represent the one true God, El Elyon, El Shaddai, when we represent God and we say your life matters so much, I'm going to preserve your life, it really does throw people for a loop. They're like, what are you talking about? Just like, this is not how the world works. Well, yeah, God kind of
Yeah.
turns everything which is already on its head, flip it right side up, saying, this is how you're supposed to live. You're supposed to, as Nate said earlier, Adam and Eve were cultivators of his garden. They were cultivators of life. They were preserving of which God has made. And so that's the one thing that we shouldn't doubt is a value
Yeah.
of someone else's life. Like we look at um, how things should be. It's like, oh God, what am I supposed to do? If you can save a person's life, that is more valuable than anything else that you could possibly do.
Yeah. That's good. To kind of add, I think like one of the best examples in Batman lore that I can think of that shows this really well is actually the Dark Knight trilogy, especially Batman Begins and the Dark Knight. Because in Batman Begins, spoiler alert, if any of you guys have not seen Batman Begins and the Dark Knight, you should go watch those movies because they're great. But in Batman Begins, Bruce does want revenge on the man who murdered his parents, and he actually kills him. Like he actually shoots him and kills him, and he realizes the damage. What's that?
Someone else shoots him and kills him.
Oh,
he's going to. No, he's going to, but literally, he doesn't because someone got to him before he did.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess I for some reason, like when I watched the movie, I always assumed that he was the one who shot him because of the gun being hidden. So that's okay. I guess that's my bad. Anyways, but Bruce does. So sorry about that. Sorry for getting my facts wrong. But Bruce does. He wants to question. So he wants to kill the guy who killed his parents. The guy ends up getting killed, and he realizes the huge, terrible decision he was going to make. And Rachel helps him realize the horrible decision he was going to do. And so he runs away, trains with the League of Shadows, and they try to get him to become an executioner, and he says, no, I will fight injustice, but I will not become an executioner. I will not take the law into my own hands. And this is really exceptionally shown in The Dark Knight, because Heath Ledger's Joker does horrible, horrible, evil things, and basically tries to turn Gotham against each other, and tries to turn Gotham into a city of... Come on, hit me. I just wanted you to do what I want you to hit me. Hit me. Like, he literally is trying to, get Batman to... the entire movie is trying to get Batman to break his no-kill rule, and Batman doesn't give in. Batman doesn't give in to killing the Joker. And in the moment where the Joker is setting it up so that way one ship blows up the other, no one gives in. And the Joker is proven wrong. And Batman still holds to his rule of not killing anyone. So it's just, it's beautifully done in the Dark Knight trilogy. So I just wanted to add that, I think that's a piece of Batman media that really shows his value of life super well, is Bruce's journey from wanting to kill the man who killed his parents to, I will not become an executioner, even if someone deserves it.
And that's another thing that we'll probably cover as well with Batman,
Yes, we should definitely do the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah,
sure. And what I said earlier, I still like The Dark Knight Rises. I just think Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are better. But anyways.
No, I think for sure Dark Knight is the better one, but anyway, so another thing that they all have in common is Batman always wants to do good and will stand up against evil no matter what. And so Ephesians 6:11 through 16 talk about resisting spiritual darkness, submitting to God. Ephesians 5:11 talking about having nothing to do with darkness, but rather expose them. And so, really, other than Batman being, the night, basically a little bit dealing with darkness, but that's more of just I'm going to scare the crap out of you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing it to scare criminals.
Yeah. But other than that, really, you see this really well with Batman, really just not giving into evil. And one of the biggest things is a big one, which I don't think we'll cover, maybe we will, is Injustice. So it's a video game that it's really popular. It's made by, it's made by WB Video, the same makers of Mortal Kombat, basically. And so
it's basically DC Mortal Kombat.
It's DC Mortal Kombat, and so it's got a really great story where Superman snaps because the Joker tricks him into killing Lois Lane, which is pregnant with their baby, and so really he just snaps and he becomes this dictator, and Batman's like, I can't do this. This isn't right. What happened to you was not okay, but I'm going to fight you. And so, long story short, Batman gets a different universe of these heroes that we love. Flash, one of all these guys to help him to defeat this evil version of Superman and people that are with with this evil version of Superman. And so like he stands up even though it's hard. Literally he could have just gave in. He literally could have just gave in and just be like, okay, Superman, have it your way. But no, he resists the evil and he's like, I'm going to fight back against this. And really, as Christians, we should stand up for what's right. We should say, hey, this is evil and I'm not going to stand for it. Even if it hurts us, even if we're going to sound ridiculous, whatever, just standing firm in what is good and what is right and saying this is wrong. It's actually a really cool Captain America quote with this. I'm not going to go into it, but we should definitely do
Hey, we're talking about Batman, not Captain America.
We should do a Captain America overview because this is a really good quote. So like it's just making me.
I'd be down for doing Winter Soldier and Civil War.
Well, I'm just talking about like Batman overview. Really, Captain America over. I mean,
it's Captain America with his mighty shield. Yeah.
I don't know if you'll have anything to add to that. If not, I'll move on to the last couple of things.
I think it's good when, because as Christians or even the Jews have this higher calling of setting a high standard, because we're not just representing ourselves, we represent God, our friends, our community, our people, and so even like what came in my mind of thinking like not just like fighting evil in the sense of I'm going to go and do what is right, I'm going to preach the truth no matter what. Like Batman, like he delivers justice. It's his thing. It's like I am going to protect the innocent from this darkness because Gotham is such a stronghold of darkness. It's like I'm going to be the light, as God told us to be the salt and light within these nations. To be so different, to be set apart or as holy, because that's what holy means. It's not like, oh, I'm a righteous person. That's entirely different thing. Being holy is meaning you're being set apart from everything else and being anointed. And so Batman, when he goes on to do this, I think what's important also to point out is like even as Bruce Wayne, he does all this great charity work, or as we say in the Hebrew, tzedakah, which is from the Zogic term of righteous. It's this charity, it's this giving. What came to my mind was the Batman animation episode where Two-Face is going to go into surgery to fix what was going on, and Harvey Dent was talking. He's like, who paid for this? It's like, this is expensive. And it's like, oh, Bruce Wayne paid for this. He goes, oh, yes. Bruce Wayne, what a good guy.
Yes.
It's like in the ethics of the fathers of the Parakeet Avot, it's like, be eager to fulfill the smallest mitzvah, commandment, and flee from transgressions. For one mitzvah leads to another, and the reward of a mitzvah is a mitzvah. And in Hebrew, mitzvah, yes, it means commandment, but we can also use it as good deeds, because faith and works aren't separate. It's not like we only have faith and we only have works. But if you say, oh, we only have faith, we don't need to do works, you forget the goodness, the chesed, the loving kindness acts that we do. If you just only focus on works, then that's not going to get you in the kingdom. Like, what gets you in the kingdom is grace and salvation, is in faith. But faith and works come together hand by hand. Just say, when we go into these places, time after time, or I hear testimonies and ministries from both Jews and Christians, both followers of Yeshua, where they go in and it just, the miraculous change you could do in someone's life by just doing one small good deed. My school used to have a saying, it's like, you never know the battles that people are facing every day. And just a simple smile could change someone's completely. And it's to the point that sheer amount of times I hear stories like people coming up to missionaries going, there's something different about you guys. Why are you doing this? What's the whole point of doing this? It's just, well, we love God, right? We love our neighbor as ourselves. And we believe that taking care of like the world and these people is what we ought to do. And the people who outside, who normally is like, oh, I want to be a good person, will look at that and goes, but I see charity events all the time, but just something that you guys bring, which is usually the Holy Spirit, into the room, and just it changes people's lives. Share time after time after time again. We see not just the comics but in the animated series, when Batman fights his villains, he's not fighting them all the time with fists. Like, yes, sometimes he has to do that because they're in the middle of doing something destructive. But sure, time after time, he changes them through just loving kindness with the good deeds and to show them just what's the word I'm thinking of? Like Harley Quinn, for example. There's a whole movie of Harley Quinn. I mean, she wanted a dress, right? She was released from Arkham because it's like, okay, this is your chance. This is your only chance to do something good. We'll send you out, but if you do one wrong thing, we're taking you back in. And she goes throughout her days trying to be normal again, try to reintegrate into
Is this the
society.
Batman the animated series episode where she's
Yeah,
released?
It kind of
where
sounds
Yeah,
she's
like
that's a good
really.
episode.
I think it's that one. And then all she wanted was like this one dress, and she ends up stealing it, and ends up having to go back. And she has to face Batman, and she's like, "It looks like this is the only thing I can be." And did he bought the dress for her, and says, "You can be so much more." It's something along those lines. It's been a hot minute since I've watched that episode. But it's just when we watch Batman, a lot of people get hyped up because, like, yeah, I want to be like a vigilante to go fight crime, to
Right, yeah.
we go punch some bad guys in the face and be like, justice
Yeah.
has been served. But we
Mhm.
often forget the humane part of Batman. The whole
Yeah,
point of
there's
why
a
he's
huge
doing
man part.
yeah.
he never just like, I'm gonna send you guys to jail. Hey, he doesn't send them to jail. He sends them to Arkham. He sends them to
Right,
try
to
to
get reformed.
rehabilitate them, to repair
Right.
what was broken, to say
Mm.
you can be better than this. So we cannot forget that part of Batman. And if we're trying to be like Batman, then we need to remember to be like a Zodiac, to be a righteous person. And how we do that is to share the love of God to other people.
Yeah. Well,
Jared, I have one. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
what were you gonna say?
I do have one thing, really, like one quick comment on the subject of temptation to kind of go back to that. But like, if
Okay.
we're short on time, then I can
It's gonna be
save
a
it.
longer episode. Let's go for it.
Okay. So, yeah, I think like one of some of the verses that come to mind when talking about the subject of temptation, because we're talking about like Batman resisting temptation, is James 1 verses 1:14 through 15. But each one is tempted when he is carried away and enticed by his own lust. Then when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it has run its course, brings forth death. The Bible warns about the danger of falling into temptation. And in the same way, the Bible talks about like resisting temptation, like how no temptation has overtaken you, because that's what is common to man, and God provides a way out of temptation, as Paul writes, I think, in 1 Corinthians. So, in a similar way, just like how Batman resisted the temptation to join Superman, we as Christians need to remember that like temptation is a normal thing, but what we need to do is to resist temptation, because temptation can lead to sin. Now, being tempted itself is not a sin, but we can recognize that temptation can lead to sin, and yeah.
So the next thing is Batman brings hope, and so like the bat signal is like it brings hope. It brings like really with God, like if you've done nothing wrong, you have nothing to fear. But if you do something wrong, and like God's going to do something about it, you should fear. And so like Batman brings that hope of like restoring justice, restoring what is right, and just stopping what is wrong.
Yeah.
Just how God is going to do the same. And then one of the things that I just see, and I've kind of touched this a little bit, it's like Batman representing like law and just being like, hey, you've done wrong, like I'm going to stop that. But then really Bruce Wayne representing grace and just being that person that will buy that dress or whatever. It's kind of funny that you touched on that earlier, but there was this one time in the animated series where Batman beat the crap out of a villain, and then like later it was real like Bruce Wayne helped that person out. You see Bruce being more of that the knight, like the white knight shining armor, and then like Batman being the Dark Knight, you know. So really just Bruce using both. Just you know, Batman representing law, and Bruce just being like, okay, I'm going to be the guy that'll give second chance, that will help, and you really just see him like help his friend, like you said, like Harvey didn't was his friend that turned criminal because he went psycho in his head. It's Bruce like, how can I help my friend become normal again? You know, his he uses just Bruce Wayne to help out where Batman can't, because Batman has to be the fear, strike the fear in them. And there's times whenever you know, Batman isn't scary, where it's like, hey, like kid, like it's okay, like you have nothing to fear from me.
Yeah, I think the greatest example is in the animated Justice League, Ace, where she's dying and he sits with her because she's scared. And I think it's a good example as well. Like to like villains, he is terrifying, but it's so funny because most of the time with like kids, so like they're his like almost gargoyle. Like the gargoyles on churches are meant to terrify the demons, but it's supposed to show people, because what the gargoyle is supposed to do, because there are depictions of monsters and all of this, but the whole purpose is to protect the church from evil spirits. It's supposed to scare the evil spirits, but supposed to people look up and say this place is protected by a guardian. And so Batman is a guardian in the sense he should strike or fear to evil, but to what is good, they should be able to say, this guy is going to be here to help us. Like we see that multiple times in the series of people who are frightened by Batman and those who aren't. And people who go, oh, there's a bat signal, everything's gonna be okay. And I think of like another great example of him as Batman taking care of someone is what's her name? Her villain name is Dollface.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. The episode where like he comforts like that actress who goes insane, that like is known for playing that girl on that sitcom.
Because she has a disease. Yeah, because she has a disease that it traps her. She's old. She's like older, but she has a body of a child. It's a disease. It traps her in the body of a child, and so that in the end of the episode, which is so gut wrenching, like I think people need to go and watch this episode because. This is why I will say spoiler. You should just watch the show.
You know what? We need to just stop talking because we're giving away stuff for future episodes, guys. Come on.
Is that we could add on more to it later.
It's a good freaking show, Jared.
Okay.
I know it is. That's why I said it's better than Avatar.
Okay.
I disagree. I still love Avatar more, but I also love Batman the Animated Series.
Comment in the comments. Which one's better, Batman or Avatar? You can pick.
I still love Batman the Animated Series. It's a fantastic show. You should watch it. For me, Avatar is
even he said he voted for Batman. He said he voted for Batman.
He's saying we're here, folks.
Even Nate's contradicting himself.
I did not say I voted for Batman. I never once said that. Yeah. I said that it's.
Put in the comments. Did Nate not say that?
No, I don't think I did. I said I love Batman. I still love Batman the Animated Series.
It's because you said first I love Batman is what he's cutting you off before you
okay. What I meant to say. Okay, sorry, Jared. For clarification, what I meant was I love Batman the Animated Series. It's a fantastic show. You should watch it. And as a Batman fan, I love it. But to me, Avatar is still the GOAT of animated shows. So that's why I'm messing around.
I need to stop messing around because it's getting too long.
We're doing Avatar episode later.
We should. We need to do an Avatar episode.
I'll wrap up what I was saying. I'll leave it vague, so maybe we can bring it up again. Basically, Batman the entire time while she's at the very end of the episode, before she like cracks and decides she needs help, Batman is giving her the hard truth, but he's consciously saying, I want to, like, I'm here to help you. I'm not trying to destroy you. I want you to see past the delusion that you see. Like, we see multiple times him fighting Joker, like, punching. But a lot of times, if you watch the animated series, and you watch the movies and stuff, a great depiction of Batman is he's not constantly just beating the crap out of all of these guys. he's constantly trying to talk to them, saying you can do better than this. We can find you help for this. He's trying to trying to get them out of their trapped mind to say, look, the cage that you put yourself in, the door is right open, and I'm trying to show you can just step out. And so he's constantly trying to help. He's constantly trying to aid these villains, which we need to learn to do, to love our enemies as ourselves. If we were in that same situation, we will want someone to try to come to us and say, here's the hard truth, but we can help you.
Okay. Well, Nate, you know what time it is for?
Time to acquire a taste for freeform jazz.
So, some things that I just want to say before we end the episode with the freeform jazz is Batman just doesn't know how to handle grief. And I know they make that part of his superpower, you know, of just like the grief is really why he does what he does. There's a comic story in the New 52 where like Batman is healed of what happened in his head, the trauma, and he's not Batman anymore. I think he just doesn't remember. But then there's some kind of machine that gives him back his memories and the trauma and stuff like that, and he becomes Batman again. And I don't think that's really needed. I think that like he can get over his trauma and still be Batman. Like I personally don't think that it is the trauma, because grief it does make us stronger, you know, like if we do it right. If we handle grief right, but if we handle it wrong, and I think there's times where he does handle it wrong, but really whenever you handle grief right, and it's not like it goes away, you know, grief has its phases, but whenever you handle it right, you know, you really do grow from it. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is just the detective side of Batman. You know, we think of him as a crime fighter, but he's literally a detective. He's the world's
he really is.
Greatest detective. Even Ra's al Ghul just calls him that. That's what he calls him. The world.
Yeah, he literally just calls him detective. Yeah,
detective.
I mean, his comic book series when he first came out was Detective Comics.
Detective Comics. Actually, fun fact. You want to know what DC stands for?
Detective Comics.
Detective Comics. So there you go.
So what we're really saying is DC Comics. So are we really saying Detective Comics?
Yes, that is what you're saying.
Yes.
So, yes. So really just a detective side, and you don't see a whole lot of that. You do see it in the video games. So the Arkham games, you see a lot of that, like the technology he uses of just like, oh, well, I need to follow these footprints. I got to create the crime scene, all that stuff. You do see it there, but really, you don't see that a whole lot in the shows. You do a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I think
you do see a little bit of that, I think, in Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, like I said, you do see it a little bit, but I wish they would kind of lean more into it a little bit more, because he is the
I agree.
greatest detective, and I think that would you just really see more of like who he was and who he should be.
Yeah, I mean, you do see that in the shows, right? Because I remember a lot.
A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit.
Yeah, and it definitely does play a huge part. But he's not like Commissioner Gordon going out to look at these. But a lot of times he's there at the crime scene, going, "What happened?" And he collects stuff and he like examines. Like I remember a ton of episodes of him going, trying to figure out, like the whole Man Bat episode when he was talking, like interviewing, just talking to the scientists, and he's like putting all the pieces together, and he's like, "He's the monster," and goes and confronts them.
And I am more talking about stuff nowadays, really, because like what you see.
Yeah. The movies. I don't think the movies do well, but because as I say, DC does great cartoons. Yeah, I was gonna say DC does great cartoons, but the live action stuff is lacking. While Marvel used to be like the live action used to be their thing, but the cartoons used to kind of be lacking. But like,
except for Spectacular Spider-Man, that show freaking rules.
Yeah, well, no, there's definitely some things, but I just like growing up, I just kind of realized the difference. Because like Marvel makes great live action movies, and DC makes really great animated movies. But like most of the animated stuff, that detective stuff, not to like I'm not trying to rain on the parade, but it's like from my memory, I remember most of the episodes is him doing detective stuff to discover who the villain was and why they were doing it. I don't like in the movies I don't see that as much. But
You
from
do see that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Keep
no,
interrupting. I'm sorry.
I've no, you're good. I pretty much that's all I was going to say.
I mean, you do see that the movie that I do see that of Batman using his detective side in, which I really enjoy this movie. I don't think it's like perfect, but I do still really enjoy it. Is Matt Reeves the Batman? I still think it's a really good movie. I mean, yeah, it's not like the best Batman adaptation, but I still think like it does show that detective side of Batman really well. But there was, speaking of like Batman being a detective, did you guys ever grow up watching Batman the Brave and the Bold on Cartoon Network?
Yes. Yeah.
I think I've seen a couple of episodes, but I was basically probably in middle school or high school at that point.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't watch the
I
animated
I
series.
remember watching the
Still,
TV.
though.
It's
You can't beat the
yeah,
animated
it's
series in my book.
no, it's not as good as the animated series. Not even close. The
No.
animated series is a freaking masterpiece. And one of the greatest cartoons ever made. Like it's just it's amazing. But
It
there is one
reshaped
episode
all
I do
Batman.
remember. What?
Though the Batman animated series, the reason why we have Batman as a continuity today, and some of the villains all came from. I mean, again, we gotta do a whole nother episode on this, but like everything that we know and love about Batman came from the animated Batman series because the guys took everything
True.
that was good about Batman.
That's very
Like
true.
Harley Quinn wasn't a original
Yeah.
comic book character; she came from
No,
that
she was
show.
created for the
That's
animated
true.
series.
But what
So-
other villains came? Because that's the only other villain I know. I know that Mr. Freeze
Oh,
was
dude, a
a villain,
ton.
but I know that they
Mr. Freeze was perfected in the animated series.
Yeah, I know
'cause
he's
he
Yeah,
wasn't.
perfected in the
yeah.
animated series.
They do
but he was
that.
the
Yeah, they
villain before that.
Yeah.
It's just like the stuff with his wife and stuff wasn't a thing before that. That's all I know. But what
yeah,
other
no,
things?
they take
'Cause
everything
I'm not
that was
sure what you're
good.
talking about.
Oh, there's
With
other
new
ones. Hold
villains.
on, you guys keep going. I'll because I know they made a lot more. I just can't remember who at the top of my head.
As a
Are you
side
talking
note,
about Condiment,
was-
whatever.
Condiment King.
Condiment Master.
I thought he was.
Condiment King. No, I'm messing around. I just know that was a joke. That was a joke character in this one.
Yeah.
Like, he's brainwashed, but I think that's an actual villain and like
Oh no, it was
way
original
back in the
villain.
day.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say earlier about Batman the Brave and the Bold was, I think if I remember correctly, there was an episode to where Batman actually teams up with Sherlock Holmes. I don't know if that's true or
I
not,
don't
but
think
that would be
so.
something.
I know that
I'd,
he does team up with the Scooby Doo gang a couple times. I remember watching.
Oh
some
yeah,
of that.
and they're in the
He does, yeah.
Oh yeah, just the Justice League friends. Holy cow,
He also
Batman!
teams up
It's
with
a
the
cow.
Teenage Mutant Ninja. He actually teams up with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and has like a fight with Shredder, which actually
so
I'd
the-
like to see that.
Oh, I do like to see it. The other
Ye-
villains that came from the animated Batman series is Harley Quinn being started off, Baby Doll, Lockup,
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Roxy Rocket, Red Claw, and
Yeah.
Sewer King. And so those and Tingus McGinnis, how do you say his last name? Terry
McGinnis?
Well,
yeah, he's a. I don't know if he
that's just
counts
kind-
though.
Yeah,
but
that's kind of like on another level. That I mean, it comes from
Yeah.
the animated series, but that's Batman Beyond and all that stuff. The majority of that stuff is original stuff. That doesn't come from.
Toy Maker also came from the 2004 Batman series, and Reg X came from Teen Titans animated series.
Oh, I remember Red X from Teen Titans.
I don't think
remember.
that the Teen Titans is connected to the animated series. I mean, it might have made it a little bit.
I don't think so
popular,
either.
but it's not
I
connected.
think it's
I'm
connected
pretty
to a
sure.
different one, but
It is. It's a
they
different
made
world.
those. At least those are the ones that I could find. But the
Yeah.
animated series, what they did was they took what was good in the old comics and then
Oh, perfected it. Yes. We can agree with
perfected
that.
it. That was their forte.
Yeah.
That's what I was mainly getting at.
Okay. So before we stop, this is something that I want to suggest. Okay, we need the Court of Owls in something great. So like it's the Illuminati basically, but in Gotham. Like it's all these rich families that like they basically have these undead like warriors basically that do their bidding and stuff, and it's basically the Illuminati. Like, DC, please do something good with that. It's something kind of new. It's like maybe under 15 years old. But yeah, DC, please do something good with that. All we've gotten is a video game that was just kind of okay with it, and we feel like, the potential for the Court of Owls can be great. So like an amazing movie, maybe another video game that actually has Batman in it would be great. But yeah, that's something that I'd want, is the Court of Owls would be great. Well, y'all have anything I want to say before we end?
There is one thing I do want to say.
Okay.
So it's back to the topic, man. We could cover this more if we do like any videos on the DCAU. I think one of the best animated Batman storylines in the DCAU. One person said that this is the best Batman animated series episode, and it's not even a Batman animated series episode. I don't know if I'd go that far, but have you guys seen Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker?
Oh, you mean Batman Beyond?
Yes, Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
So I think the flashback scene where it shows the Joker, what he was doing to Tim Drake, I think you can make an argument that that's the best Batman the Animated Series episode, not within Batman the Animated Series. It's insane.
Dude, like, so sad.
Good and horrifying and so freaking sad. Oh, like it's just
the worst thing to happen to a Robin. Second,
my goodness.
A lot of
bad things because like Jason Todd is still.
I don't know, like, but the thing is with Jason, it's just like, at least you were killed with what they did to Tim
Drake.
They literally brainwashed him into becoming the next Joker, to where it affected him way later on.
Yeah, it's way awful, but like it is.
I'll begin with how I began to peel back the layers of the boy's mind. It's just, it's
Mark Hamill, the best Joker ever.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd give it a laugh if it wasn't so pathetic. Oh, what the heck? I'll laugh anyways. It's just like, you want to punch him. Like,
Little Caesars.
Okay.
It's like, if you don't like the movies, I have slides. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll end it there, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you all. We really do appreciate you spending time with us, listening to our stuff. We don't want to take your time for granted. And y'all have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.